think that's...
No.
Alright. Okie dokie. Alright. Okay. Alright. Hello, hello. Going through some of the logs here, just trying to make sense of some of the stuff. There will be no ties. Hello, hello. Alright. So, we last left off basically at the end of episode 2, and Rosa Battler turned into a piece of furniture, apparently. All these goat people arrived, ate everybody. Maria and Rosa tried to run away, and they shot a whole bunch of people. And then, like, the credits were going and such. And so that was that, and now we get to go into a tea party. Which, I don't know what's gonna happen. So let's find out. Purgatorio. Purgatory. Rosa woke from her doze. Must have been a very deep sleep. Her mind was hazy and she wasn't thinking clearly. Where is this? It felt like some mansion, but it didn't seem to be the Ushirmiya mansion. You could see a room that looked like a parlor, and there was some tea that had been prepared. It had probably been made for her. Around the room, some glitter that looked like gold leaf drifted about, making the scene look quite fantastical. When she eventually realized that they were gold butterflies, it further strengthened that impression. There was someone across from her. A woman. A lady. It was the portrait's witch. She seemed to be having a one-sided conversation. She's probably talking to Rosa, but Rosa, whose mind was clouded up by a deep fog, didn't have a clue what was being said. Choose whatever you please. If there is anything you want, I'll give it all to you. You can think of it as a reward for your good luck, or else as proper compensation for how you've answered to my demands. It may have been a truly trivial matter from your perspective. However, the deal was important enough to me to be deserving of this reward. What is she talking about? I don't know. It's just that I am very much a witch. Perhaps you'd best ask for something only a witch can give you. What a rare chance this is, to actually receive the favor of Beatrice the Golden, me. Finally, Rosa started to feel the blood flowing through her body. Her movements were still sluggish, and she couldn't even voice the words she was thinking. I am commonly called the Golden Witch. Bestowing a mountain of gold like the one I gave Kinzo is trivial to me. After all, you can measure all the pleasures of the human world with money. Therefore, gold is no more or less than the manifestation of the human world's pleasures. Finally, I shall be turned into a beautiful frog. Okay. Can you imagine it? A mountain of gold that you couldn't use up as long as you lived. As the witch blew on her pipe, multicolored smoke enshrouded their surroundings. As she did this, the inside of the parlor was suddenly filled with stacks of gold ingots. It looked like a shining gold-colored wall. If each ingot was worth several 10 million yen, how much would all of this be worth? It seemed sinful to even think of such a number. However, the human world is difficult. I know there are some things that cannot be settled, no matter how high into the sky you pile up gold. Who cares about gold when you just sleep in the mud all winter long? Am I right? I know there are cracks that cannot be filled. I won't make light of that, which is why this is a gift that only a witch such as I can give. Why don't I fill those cracks in for you? Yes. How about this? Oh, thank you. It's something only I can give. You should be very happy. No need to thank me out loud. I can tell right away. It's written on your face and in the corners of your heart. Rosa felt a touch of discomfort at this witch, who kept on talking even though Rosa hadn't uttered a single word. But since she still couldn't manage to speak, and was so helpless that it was difficult to even move a finger, she couldn't do anything but listen. How far must the deep wounds in your heart recede before they can be healed? This is deep. Quite deep indeed. Sometimes, wounds close up while a fragment of foreign matter remains inside. Even when such wounds appear to have healed, they continue to throb for all eternity. Sometimes you have to open the wound once more in order to heal it completely. As the witch spoke, she stared deep into Rosa's eyes. What in the world was she peering at? Rosa felt uncomfortable, but she couldn't look away. So, your pain was already faded by the time of your birth. How heartbreaking. You don't have to say it. I understand. I understand. Rosa was gradually being sucked into the witch's eyes. Then, the world grew dark, spinning round and round as she was sucked in. Rosa, Rosa, why are you such an idiot? Oh, that's Kraus Nissan's voice. Kraus Nissan is a real adult, so he's very smart. So he hated the stupid kid, Rosa. He was a very scary person. I was often hit, and my toys were taken from me and broken. I was apparently being punished for something bad I'd done, but I never really understood what it was, or why I was being punished. I was always punished suddenly, and then later told what the punishment was for, in a forced manner. But it was always something I didn't remember doing. So I really hated Kraus and Nissan. Hmm. Rosa. Rosa. Why are you such an idiot? Oh, that's Ava Nissan's voice. Ava Nissan is a real adult, so she's very smart. So she hated the stupid kid, Rosa. She was always a very sly person, and she often lied to me, tricked me, bullied me all the time. Apparently I was stupid, and she said it was only natural for stupid people to be swindled by those smarter than them. I wanted to become a wise person like Eva Nissan, and listen to what she said, but when I obeyed her, for some reason someone always got really mad at me. So I really hated Eva Nissan. This is very bizarre. Rosa. Rosa. Why are you such an idiot? Oh, that's Rudolph Nissan's voice. Rudolph Nissan really knows how to get things done, so he hated the stupid kid, Rosa. When Kraus Nissan was around, he would be friendly with Kraus Nissan. When Ava Nissan was around, he would be friendly with Ava Nissan. And when Kraus Nissan wasn't around, he would be violent like Kraus Nissan. And when Eva Nissan wasn't around, he would play dirty like Eva Nissan. Good morning, Keith. Welcome, welcome. And even though he was also bullied most of the time, when Kraus Nissan and Eva Nissan weren't around, he gave me 2 people's worth of bullying. I really hated Rudolph Nissan. Oh, but these were my memories from when I was a kid. It's common for unfair things to happen between kids, and you mustn't hold on to grudges for such things forever. With time, those memories get buried away, and forgetting them bit by bit is supposed to be part of growing up and becoming an adult. So, becoming an adult is the same as separating yourself from all those memories. And because of that, no matter how much time passed, Rosa couldn't become an adult. Even though she had been blessed with a daughter called Maria and was called a mother, she didn't at all feel like she had become an adult. The witch pitied her for that, and she smiled, saying that she could heal that pain herself. How can I heal you? It's possible, but not easy. I might rewind time and giving you a world where you have no older siblings. Aren't we all? But that way, your memories of being hurt by your older siblings wouldn't remain. And in that sense, while you might call it a gift, you wouldn't be able to accept it. A person is only satisfied when their starvation is healed. But if you make it so they never starved in the first place, none of them will thank you. Just like how there are no young people who give thanks for their daily gluttony. Understand? I think she's telling me something really complicated. In short, even if she makes it so I never had older siblings, that wouldn't remove my pain. Maybe that's what she's saying. Strictly speaking, that's not quite right. Healing isn't the same thing as removing pain. It's the pleasure we earn as compensation for withstanding pain. Therefore, removing the pain isn't healing. To know the joy of healing, you have to know the pain. Which means you must know joy, in order to compensate you for your pain. You should be proud of your past sufferings. After all, they are what make it possible for you to know pleasure that those without pain will never experience. Those who experience this pleasure cannot help but pass on the same joy to others. When the witch snapped her fingers, even though the room was still filled with a mountain of gold and had already lost all semblance of reality, a fabulous tablecloth appeared on top of the table. and a wonderful meal was laid out, almost as though it was the opening of a banquet in a castle from some fairy tale. For an instant, Rosa truly did feel a pleasurable surprise at how fabulous it was, but at the same time, she felt a bit of anticlimax. After all, she didn't think of being told by her siblings to be wiped away by just one meal, no matter how delicious. Food is the source of many human pleasures. You simply must eat like a pig as long as you live. If one meal isn't enough, then have as many as you want. Until the pain of your heart is healed, why not continue this gourmet banquet? Begin it, furniture. As the witch clapped twice, there were suddenly 2 goat-head servants there, and they began to prepare the meal. From the beautiful dishes adorning the table, they efficiently took some food and began to pile it up on Rosa's plate. It really did look delicious, but Rosa's body still felt as heavy as lead, and there was no way she'd be able to eat. Maybe they also understood that. The goat-head servants tied a napkin around Rosa's collar, and gallantly brought a glass of before-dinner alcohol to her mouth, tilting it for her. She remembered an old servant who had once carried rice porridge to her mouth when she was laid up with a high fever. She couldn't drink it well, and it dripped down from her mouth, but she felt the fragrant sweetness spread throughout her mouth. It's a sweet aperitif of noble, wrought German-made wine. A wine cocktail of white wine mixed with a crimson golden drop. If I had to give it a name, I'd call it a bloody Kraus, soaked with just a golden drop of your brother's blood that was squeezed out of a compressor. Rosa coughed violently, and the bright red that stained her face made it look as though she had coughed up blood. Right now you're leaving? You know a lot about black tea, so you should know what it means, right? Golden drop refers to the last drop in a drink. It is called the most precious drop in black tea. So a golden drop of blood is the same. The last and most precious drop of blood squeezed out of a human. We squeeze it using that. As the witch snapped her fingers, a bright red veil that had been set up before something large was removed. The solemn and massive machine there was just like a coffin for a large-sized person, with many large bulb-like things stuck to it, and it looked like a sinister torture device. By its unnerving shape, you could tell that with a human strength it could be used to tighten and compress something, and it seemed that there were still some squeezed dregs remaining, because of the bright red remains that stained it. But you can't take more than one golden drop at once. No matter what kind of human you take it from, you can't get more than one drop. But I am a witch. Reviving a person is easy for me. When the witch snapped a finger, the human compressor suddenly began to shake. No, you could also hear a groan. It looked almost as though someone sleeping in that man-sized coffin had woken up and was now struggling to get out. But that was wrong. What was inside definitely had been squeezed dregs. Using her magic, the witch had once again revived the squeezed dregs to how they'd been before they were squeezed. 3 goat-head servants with muscular physiques approached the compressor and forcefully started tightening the large bulb. As they did, an unearthly moan came from inside the coffin. Rosa thought she knew the owner of that voice. It is fitting for cooking to be done in the kitchen. Enough. Stand back. Do you understand how precious the golden drop is? To have it stained this crimson requires that several dozen people's worth be squeezed. The witch defiantly said that only one golden drop could be taken from a single human, and yet she had dozens of people's worth of golden drops from a single human. Only a witch could do this. The golden witch Beatrice could kill a single human endlessly. In other words, before Beatrice, even death did not mean freedom. Do you need me to put it a different way? Have you forgotten the day this man hit you, when you swallowed the blood that ran into your mouth? That's right. Remember that taste. Remember the taste of the tears that you spilled until you were dry. I believe this aperitif will be sufficient to heal that regrettable memory. Once again, the goat-head servant tilted a deep red glass against her mouth. Rosa tried resisting by closing her lips, but the deep red liquid was relentlessly poured into her mouth, which hung open with shock, and the inside of her mouth was filled with a ghastly sweetness. It definitely was a fragrant sweetness. The living blood of her brother, who had given her such hateful thoughts and made her soak her pillow so many times, had been collected from his death, repeated dozens of times. How could the crimson-stained wine not be sweet? But Rosa tried to spit it out. Because of that, the deep red wine that spilled out of Rosa's mouth looked just like a blood stain. Now that she knew that this ghastly substance wasn't a simple aperitif, Rosa couldn't help but feel uncomfortable about what would happen if the banquet continued. That is a double-tongued salad made from vegetables and seasoned. On your 9th birthday, you made a wish that you'd someday get to chew this to bits. This salad made from Eva's tongue. When Rosa heard the true nature of the pink-colored meat piled up in the salad, she had a sudden impulse to vomit her guts out. Furthermore, the goat servant stuck a fork in it and carried it to Rosa's mouth. How does your double-tongued sister taste? It must be quite soft and enchanting, right? It probably would be quite sweet, soft, and enchanting in her mouth. After all, Eva's lies were always sweet, and young Rosa had always listened to them. And, you might say the stimulating pepper seasoning expressed the truth behind those lies well. As the tongue salad that kept being pushed into Rosa's mouth was covered with saliva, she spat it out. But the goat-head servants carefully returned it to the plate and carried it to Rosa's mouth over and over again. It goes without saying, but I made this salad liberally using 5 of Eva's tongues. You can't get more than 1 tongue out of a person, but I can get them over and over. As Rosa's tears dripped down, she resisted frantically. However, the only way she could resist was by refusing to swallow. Even if she didn't swallow it, the taste of the French dressing increasingly permeated Rosa's mouth. Does it not please you? There's lots more. Sea bass pie wrapped in the skin of Rudolph's face, soup with a boiled brains, liver plate, and look forward to dessert. It's not just your siblings, you see. I have lavishly assembled all of those whom you have trusted and yet by whom you were betrayed. Why don't we continue this banquet for all eternity, until your heart is satisfied? For all eternity. You're happy, right? Maria Rosa? Don't pretend you hate it. I know that you're actually happy, kid. If you want to laugh, then do so. And if you won't feel better until you've heard a raw performance of your annoying older sibling's screams, I'll let you hear them as much as you like. Fear not. Your reluctance doesn't trouble me. That's just your personality, right? On the inside, you're actually so happy that your skin is crawling all over. And yet, on the outside, you're merely pretending that all this causes you pain, yes? It's alright. Here, there's no need to worry about honor or your public image or anything. So laugh as much as you want and chew it to bits. Isn't this the best banquet? Ushiramiya Rosa? Please, stop. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to leave dessert as a surprise, but let me reveal it now anyways. Maybe that will be enough incentive for you to eat up the full course. Your dessert is that beloved daughter that you had to keep pretending to love. Oven-baked Maria with apples. Doesn't that sound yummy? Once you eat this, you will be released from everything. Freedom, you see? Freedom. Finally, Rosa will gain freedom as an individual person. Aren't you happy? You should be happy. Drool is hanging from your mouth. Just try looking in a mirror. Suddenly, a musty goat cook was holding Maria under his arm, and Maria gazed at Rosa with a face that was only slightly sad. Mama, was I a burden? You aren't a burden. As Rosa spat out the food that was continually being carried to her mouth, as she was covered with filth and saliva and blood, she resisted filthily and screamed. If you think I'm a burden, I don't mind if you eat me. After all, I'm always doing horrible things to you. Even when you bring a man over, I can't stay quiet. When you spend the night out with a man, I get lonely and unruly and make a mess of my room. When I go to search by myself, I get lost. The police pick me up and you're shamed. When you don't come home for several days and I cry and have to be consoled by the neighbors, you're shamed. Because I'm like this, I'm a burden to Mama. Sorry for being born. So, I'll become delicious oven-baked apples for Mama's sake. And then, maybe Mama will be happy if I exist for the first time. Maybe she'll eat me and think I'm delicious. Isn't it delicious? Be choked up with tears of gratitude. Your daughter saying this much for you, right? Oven-baked apples and your beloved daughter make for the best dessert. You've managed to raise such delicious ingredients. Aren't you the best mother, Ushiramiya Rosa? Mama, thanks for everything. Bye-bye. Wait. Wait! Maria, that's wrong. Stop it already. Stop it already. I didn't want something like this. Please stop. Please forgive me. No. Stop it already. Don't put it in my mouth. Have you been satisfied with my hospitality? Then I'll have you accepted. That I am a witch? Proclaim it. Ushiramiya Rosa accepts that Beatrice is a witch. I accept it. Ushiramiya Rosa accepts that Beatrice is a witch. So give Maria back. Release me. I finally made you acknowledge it. That crafty battler has already surrendered, and I made Rosa, the fool who denied me even after being invited to the Golden Land, accept it. Perfect. It's perfect. I've accomplished my perfect victory. Come, bring Maria. Prepare a delicious oven roast for Rosa. No, Maria! Looks delicious. Slice up your cow tits and make me a sandwich. What? That voice. An arm grabbed the back of the witch's head and smashed her face into the table. As it did, the witch broke to pieces, turned into a cloud of gold butterflies, and reformed her body in a short distance away. There you go. Battler? You bastard. I thought you'd surrendered so far that even your soul was furniture. Me too. But while I was listening to that gross recipe, I started to get a little hungry. Now I feel like eating a whole roast witch. And Maria, it's 10 years too early for you to talk about having someone eat you up. But in 10 years, you'd better say that to me. Promise. Promise. No. Battler-kun. Sorry to keep you waiting, Aunt Rosa. I'd forgotten. This is a one-on-one fight between me and this woman. It's totally wrong for me to give in. Thanks to you hanging in there, I've gotten my will to fight back. This person, he gave up down to the depths of his soul and surrendered to me, didn't he? I see. He doesn't know when to give up. Just what I expect from Ushirimiya Kinzo's grandchild. So the chink of a phoenix is a phoenix after all. So the chick of a phoenix is a phoenix after all. How dashing. How amusing. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have you any other way, Battler. Try to deny me. I'll completely and thoroughly smash you to bits. Let me make you surrender over and over again. I'll teach you, one who has licked my shoes, the taste of defeat, over and over again. No problem. I'll teach you that I, Ushirimiya Battler, am a man who can stand back up even after crawling through the mud. I've never been invincible in a fight. I've lost loads of times. But I'll definitely crawl through the mud and stand up again. And then I'll finish this. In a man's fight, you don't lose until you accept defeat, no matter how much you get beat up. Don't think I'm out just because you took a shot at me. I'll give you a good show, Beatrice. I'll accept your challenge, Ushirimiya Battler. Furniture, begin preparations for the next game. While we're waiting, why don't you tell me all about it? There were a lot of closed rooms in this game. Using red, I've smashed to bits most of the methods by which you try to talk yourself out of them. What other evasive quibbles will you show me now? The lock to the chapel, the lock to Jessica's room, the lock to the servant's room, the lock to Natsuhi's room, the lock to the parlor. Use your bizarre specialty. Those delusions, rantings, daydreams, and bluffs, all slanted with ridiculous, incredible turns of events, and show how you can thoroughly deny me. It's useless. It's all useless. That was a very bizarre tea party. I would rather not have gone to that one. Umineko no Naku Koro ni Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning Staff. Nope. Guess we're stuck watching the credits after the first 40 minutes. But yeah, that was honestly kind of creepy. And actually, my family, we have an odd little debate about the word of creepy. They use it a lot more frequently than I do, and I deem it different than them, and I can't quite explain it. Like, something that's just odd or a bit different, they call creepy. And it's like, no, it's not quite creepy. Creepy is something that gives you the heebie-jeebies and, like, just gives you the creeps. Not quite something so liberally used. At least, my perspective. But yeah, and to be fair, this wasn't quite creepy. It was disturbing in very many ways. I was not expecting any of that, really. We're gonna be free of these weirdos and adopt Maria. You can get the game at any time you wish, and try and adopt her and save her yourself. But yeah, this family, these people, this menagerie of random people is truly bizarre. Everybody is all messed up. But yeah, she was talking about the how do you solve the murders? The closed rooms. Most of them, I think, are actually relatively simple, and we're making it, like she said in one of the other ones, we're creating a closed room ourselves by not trying to blame everybody. And there's two bits that I think of. Throughout that whole story, Kinzo was never mentioned other than like the beginning and the end. I think he may have had the potential to do things, since nobody kept tabs on him. But I don't know what that would mean. The hardest one for me to solve and figure out is the first chapel one. Because, well, maybe Kinzo did it. I don't know. Because how do you get 6 people into there and then lock it? I believe she used the red text to say that the door couldn't be jammed or locked or something by other than the key, which makes it very bizarre. There's only one in Maria's letter, and it says the one who just baked her into an apple pie or whatever the hell it was. Maria with apples. Oh. They have the names for the demons as well. Mammon, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Satan, Fernkessel, Lambda Delta. Now that Lambda Delta, is that B pronounced or is it silent? Lambda Delta. I don't quite know how to pronounce it. And the Japanese pronunciation of it isn't quite accurate. But yeah, the murders. There was, let's see, there's the 6 in the church, or the cathedral, or whatever. They were all 6 killed, and they were all the 6 people. Calling child services. But yes, child services, I would like to report some child abuse. There was a witch who did it. Cooked a kid up after fattening them up. Out in the woods with a candy house. Right? Oh wait, no, I think I'm mixing stories with that one. But yeah, it's and this is just the 2nd episode. There's apparently, I have been corrected, 4 episodes in the Questions arc. I'm told. I thought there was only 3, but apparently there's a 4th one. Or some such. And this is only episode 2. We're at the halfway point and they're still playing the game. Oh, okay. Probably in that weird question mark section afterwards, I'm guessing then. Is she somebody we want to meet? I remember the name, but I can't remember what exactly the meaning or the intent was for the that name that was associated with it. Question mark tea party, huh? That's a tea party as well? Well, yes, I guess. But yeah, this story gets so bizarre. And I know there's a path for, like Battler says, there's a way that humans did it with trickery, with humans and tricks. I just can't see it all. I doubt it's gonna get any easier though. Oh yeah, the 6 in the chapel. How did they get them in and out that way? Too many murders and trying to keep track of all the other ones as well. Then after that was... what was the next ones? The next one was Jessica and Cannon. So Cannon was red text dead, his body was never found. Then after that was Kumasawa and Nanjo? And Kumasawa, Nanjo, and Yoda. And one of my theories, I think the way the second game worked, it would make sense if people were in on it. And she brought up the comment that maybe Jessica was faking it. I've been thinking about that. And Shannon had her face just caved in, so she couldn't be faking it. The 6 people in the first one couldn't be faking it because that was actually them. Though technically they might have if the stomach wasn't a lethal blow, because you can survive with a cut on the stomach. But yeah, Kumasawa and Nanjo, I think, definitely couldn't because they had their necks sliced. So that leads to Kennen, Jessica, what was it, Goda, who we just kind of saw their face down. It's the only potentials to be faking, I think. Addition of new elements. Question has been added. You can find this new feature on the title screen. Oh yeah, we also get a new intro, or menu screen. Maybe? Oh, maybe it's after this one. It's after this one. And that would be kind of my thought process on what the people were doing, but I have no idea why or technically how they did any of that. Sheep and wolves puzzle, maybe. Well, with that example, it ends up being just entirely wolves. But I don't know, it's weird. Sheep and wolves puzzle, yeah. Anyway. On to the demented tea party of witches. Here we go. Well then. Did you find that game enjoyable? A game that one-sided goes beyond being riveted. It's boring. My, but you're harsh as always. Considering how proud I was to have created a development so impactful that it might satisfy even the boredom-hating Lady Barncastle, this response is quite harsh. Well, I admit it was impactful. However, it was horrible as a fair game. Unless you make the conditions a bit more even. Are you saying there's no way to win? Not even for Lady Barncastle? I wonder what you mean by that, Beato. There's no need to try and fool me. I already know that you're no bystander. Were you planning on hiding it? You're an outrageous person to come into someone else's territory from such a great distance to work against them. You came to watch from the sidelines and probably pushed strongly for my defeat. I've guessed right, haven't I? And if so... Truly amusing. That I should be granted a chance to fight against Lady Burncastle, the strongest of witches who defeated Lady Lambda Delta, is truly a pleasure. Yes, I'm also pleased. I came all this way because I really wanted to see you, brimming with confidence, fall apart and lose. What an honest person. Even so, it would be a shame if the contest between me and the great Lady Burncastle was resolved without at least one observer. You called her here, didn't you? That kid. Here we go. Happy Halloween, it looks like. I found you. I finally found you, Burncastle. How are you, Lambda? Looks like you've got spare time too. I wonder if it's fate that the pair who hates boredom should run into each other again. Stupid kid. Can't you see you only won against me because of a little luck and a problem of compatibility? After that, you became such a brag, and now you're even picking a fight with Beatrice. Shouldn't you learn your place? Beatrice is strong, and she's even more brutal than I am. Just a bit. And by the way, don't go shortening people's names without their permission. You're dumb too, Beato. If this kid's in your game, she'll make a mess of everything. I certainly didn't just bring Lady Lambda Delta here to watch from the sidelines. After informing me that you were betting against me, she said that she would bet against you. You're still holding a grudge, aren't you? Because I'm the strongest witch in the universe. But I lost to you, which means I'm not the strongest. So any enemy of yours is my ally. And there you have it. With the great Lady Burncastle as our opponent, this may not even count as a handicap, but it should make for good entertainment. Do as you like. Now that I've been exposed, allow me to get serious. That would be well. Going easy has never been written in my dictionary. That's because it's not a single word. Lambda Delta, let us enjoy our precious time together. Yeah, I'll be counting on you, Lady Beatrice. I've been betrayed pretty bad by her too. Until the two of us smash her up and pay her back double, I won't be able to rest. I'll be counting on you, Lambda. And you, Beato. No matter what we fight over, this will be a very significant battle for us all. That's right. Of course, I don't plan on losing, but we've got a goal beyond who wins and who loses. After all, we hate boredom. The three witches giggled, cackled, and guffawed. That's right. I should thank you, Beato. It looks like I'll finally be able to escape my boredom. Do your best to entertain me, along with Lambda Delta. Leave it to me. If we're decided, Beato, then let's start a strategy meeting right now. I know all of this girl's weak points, and I'll teach you all of them. And yet, Lady Lamdelta, you were defeated by her. Oh, I won't tell you. I won't tell you. She's never boring, that Lady Lamdelta. Isn't she? Take care of her. She gets lonely easily. I see. So she's one of those that are popular these days. As expected from Lady Lamdelta. Quite cutting edge. Go already. That kid's waiting for you to chase after her. Then, if you'll excuse me. See you next game. I'm sorry. A troublesome one came, but don't mind it. More importantly, things sure got ugly. I thought I experienced a very tragic end in Lambda's game, but this one is exceptionally horrible. I can't say I don't understand why you're hugging your knees and closing up your heart. If you meet a fate like that a few more times, it'll take a lot less than 100 years to kill your heart. Beato saw through me, so I'll confess. You are now just like I was in the past, when I was imprisoned inside Lambda's world, shut inside a labyrinth of cruel fate, tormented by a witch, in a manner of speaking. I am a witch who was born from there. So maybe I'm like an older sister to you. So I decided that I'd lend you my power. However, even compared to my fate, yours is truly brutal. Not only do I sympathize with you, I'm almost brought to tears by your tragic fate. But please, don't lose heart. Please don't submit to Beato, no matter what. Certainly, that child's game is quite unfair. If only I've only been allowed a glimpse of the game board. But the unfair and clever devices set up on the stage are so disgusting that I imagine they far surpass those on Lamdelta's game board. And what's even more frightening is that when that kid moves a piece, he doesn't always make the best possible move. This is where she's very different from Lambda. Lambda always uses an overpowering number of pieces to make the best possible move in order to win. But Beato sometimes intentionally goes easy on her opponent when she moves her pieces. Since, when we're in trouble, we try to seek out our opponent's strategy by looking at their moves. This creates a very formidable amount of noise in our information that might cause a troublesome amount of disorder. However, as in chess, though a player might be able to create some noise for their opponent with a useless move, they'll still miss out on the more valuable move they avoided. In other words, it's not like your opponent it's not like your opportunities to take advantage of this are zero. Although you may not be able to believe it, that analogy holds true for this game as well. Even though those developments look so overpowering, there actually was a weak point. A weak point that almost looks like she wanted you to take advantage of it. Though, I don't know if it's a trap or if she's testing us. Anyway, don't surrender. Don't stop thinking. Don't deny any possibility. As long as you continue to hold the will to fight, Beato will not win. What's the most important element in defense during a witch's battle? Rather than trying to win, try not to lose. If accepting her means your defeat, then you definitely mustn't accept her. Making you accept witches. There is no longer any doubt that this is one of Beatrice's victory conditions. Now that I have announced that I'm your ally, I too will make as great an effort as possible to lend you my power. Make an effort yourself as well. If you're still hugging your knees, quickly stand back up. In times like this, what did I used to say again? Good. Go for it. Yay. Meep. Meep. Nipa. It's so embarrassing, doing this. I've done this much for you, so quickly stand back up. But I don't want to, I'm sitting down. I'm still here? Ah, there you are. I wonder where Burn shrank off to. Could she be any more lame? Even so, just like usual, the pieces of Burn chooses are pretty shabby. No, I'm not. It's the same with chess, right? If all your pieces were pawns, you'd have 0 chances to win, right? If all your pieces were rooks and bishops, you definitely wouldn't lose. Well, last time, right when I felt just a little pity, and said she could start with her pieces anywhere she wanted, that idiot Burn, without taking notice of my compassion, started with off their pawns on my side of the board. What's up with that? That wasn't a loss or anything. Nah, just remembering it makes me queasy. Because of that, I won't be able to rest until I see Burn's speechless face. And since you, Burn's piece, fucked up so bad, I'm feeling just great. Plus, she may not look it, but that girl really hates to lose. So I'll bet she's off somewhere grinding her teeth and crying her eyes out right now. How totally lame. Come on, laugh with me. Wait a sec. Are you still hugging your knees? You're already like this just because Beato got a little serious. Could you be any more pathetic? You're so pathetic. I'll help you just a little bit. I, the great Lambda Delta, the Witch of Certainty, and the strongest in the universe, will associate myself just a tiny bit with you and your hopeless chances at winning. You shouldn't. You should thank me. You know, Beatrice may really be a cruel and powerful witch, but she's no match for me. Why? Because she's soft. Though she'll set up the board in a way that'll let her win with just a few moves, she'll intentionally avoid cornering you. She'll do things like take worthless pieces and place excess pieces on the board to make things more one-sided. Simply put, she's got the bad habit of playing around as soon as she thinks she's won. Almost all the various attacks that hurt you and Burn look like utter waste and overkill to me. In other words, she's got a weakness, and you've got a chance. See? She isn't an opponent to be afraid of, right? She sometimes mistakes her means for her ends, and she has too much dark fun. Sometimes that even ends up creating and exposing her own weak points. For a super powerful witch like me, it's hard to understand why she's able to act so tough. Why she lowers her own chances of winning. But, well, because of that, the witch like Burn, who loses so thoroughly, read her opponent, has a really bad affinity with her. Because reading her doesn't work. Maybe it's really easy for Burn to read and handle a straightforward and honest type like me. Annoyingly enough. Well, still, a super firepower type like me can flat out beat up a light, wide-range barrage type like Beatrice. So it's kinda like rock, paper, scissors. If I'm paper, Beato is rock, which means Burn is scissors. Well, maybe that doesn't matter. Even though my paper loses to Burn's scissors, if I was a sheet of super paper, which is way more awesome than normal paper, I could even beat scissors, right? Dynamite. Basically, I, Ladybird Lambda Delta, am super paper. Super paper, huh? Sounds just like some kid would talk about. It looks like you've regained a bit of your color. That Beato, she's having fun torching some piece called Rosa. At a glance, you'd think she has really nasty tastes, right? Wrong. She's just killing time, hoping that you'll stand back up and return. It's a move to fire up your righteous indignation by intentionally doing something detestable. Aw, man, I hate kids like that. Anyway, I'll head on back. Don't tell anyone about me helping you out just a little bit. I mean, it's not like I helped you because I wanted to save you, okay? I, the strongest witch in the universe, had my throne stolen away when I lost to Burn. So I've got to take that throne back from her. But if she loses to Beato here, then it's Beato who'll get the position of strongest next, right? Well, it's not like I'm complaining. It'd be easier to steal the throne back from Beato, but then I wouldn't be satisfied, you see? I will defeat Burn, and I'll take back my position as the strongest. It's not like I'm really helping you, okay? I won't forgive you if you make Burn cry. Alright. Rock, paper, scissors, dynamite, go. I win. Right? Would that be what I am? Battler is dynamite in the rock, paper, scissors example. HC version 7 tons. Just to credits, thanks to the dozens of fans who directly supported to the English translation. Addition of a new game board. The next episode's lock has been removed. Addition of new features. You can find these new features on the title screen. Alright. 7th mod. Well, it's okay. Other magical people in the tips. Alright, let's see if we got them. 2. Ah, here we are. The next button. Oh wow, it's Kinzo too. A self-taught human sorcerer whose natural talents and level of knowledge are nothing special, but when his nearly insane powers of concentration and dedication were transformed into magical power, he awakened as a great sorcerer. His power is at least great enough that he was able to summon Beatrice and form a contract with her. Though his power is great, it is also extremely limited. He specializes in summoning and barriers, or perhaps it is fitting to call him a summoner. Burn Castle and Lambda Delta. The Witch of Certainty, who has lived for 1,000 years, she embodies the idea that hard workers are rewarded, and is revered even by humans. Though she is a witch, she does not stray far from the concepts of humans. For that reason, her power as one worshipped by humans is incalculable. However, she is fickle about whose efforts she chooses to reward, and in many cases she bestows her favor upon those who entertain her the most. Her immense, swift, and terrifying power can make any witch surrender in an instant. However, she is often reckless, and Burncastle is able to take full advantage of that. Apparently I can't do that. Can't do that. I can't remember if we did this one for Burncastle, the Witch of Miracles, who has lived for 1,000 years. Her vast power is capable of creating all kinds of miracles, but her heart has broken a bit as a result. Back when she was a human, Lambda Delta once imprisoned her within a cruel fate, toying with her the whole time. As a result, it seems she's unable to abandon others who are caught within a similar fate. You love most of their outfits. Theoretically, she's a witch with the greatest of powers, but in practice, this is no more realistic than folding a piece of paper 100 times so that it reaches the moon. Yet, she did fold it 100 times. Right. This one, the goat people? Oh, the 7 Sisters of Purgatory. Advanced level furniture created by Beatrice. They can sometimes act by their own will, but they cannot disobey the orders of their master. They are quite powerful while in their human forms, but when they return to their true forms as the 7 Snakes of Purgatory and fly at the enemy at high speeds, they display their true, terrifying potential. Satan is the 3rd sister. She is very quick to anger, however she actually wants others to be angry at her. I'm not going to read them all, there's a lot of them. Oh no, that's perfectly fine. It's I like outfits too. I like how some of the style as well. I'm personally thinking of making a battler suit, like a little white thing. That'd be pretty interesting. I kind of like the style of that stuff. I could. I actually have enough to get a basic outfit of his without the jacket. But that's kind of a big one. I've got a vest, a red shirt. Missing the tie though. I was missing that one. But yeah, it's Beatrice is kind of neat, but too big for me personally. All right, let's go back and see what we can get into on the next game board. It stops being chess when you start doing magic and extra pieces. Oh, there's some. They were in the last little tea party. They were talking about how she put her pieces anywhere on the board, so she put them on my side of the board, which didn't let her put her pieces down, and she lost, technically, or something. That actually happened in a live game of Warhammer. In Warhammer, you have a starting zone on a map, the little figurine space battle thing, and you can put your pieces all in this thing and then move them around. And then it's the next guy's turn, and he puts his pieces in his little space and then moves them around. Well, the first guy filled up his entire space with all of his fastest units, and then moved them all exactly into his enemy's starting zone. And then the enemy started, but he had no place to put his pieces, and since he had no pieces on the board, he immediately lost. And it was an official tournament ruling or something, and it's like, well, yeah, those were all legal moves that you've lost without even doing anything. So let's see if we can match that for this one. Episode 3, Banquet of the Golden Witch. Oh, apparently it's Legend, Turn, and Banquet of the Golden Witch. Good morning. I'm quite surprised to see you still haven't surrendered. Never. The Golden Witch has extremely high hopes for you. Have you figured out the structure of this world by now? You have no chance at victory unless you know the rules. Please enjoy your game with the witch to your heart's content. The difficulty level is equal. Equal for both you and the witch. Equal. This story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals or locations of people is completely coincidental. They always have to put that because, oh yeah, this witch came out and it's totally a real thing that happened. He was eating people. We gotta call the police. Child Protection Services. She baked a child into a eye? Alright, without further ado, here is episode 3. The vase was very beautiful, rich with history and value. Even as young as I was, it still forced me to take a deep breath when I witnessed its beauty. Of course, it was a member of Grandfather's favorite collection. So that I didn't accidentally destroy its fragile beauty, I was always given strict orders never to touch it. But that just made me want to touch it. It looked light, and yet so elegant that just glancing at it gave it an indescribable sense of dignity. I wanted to see what it felt like to touch a vase like that. However, just as Grandfather had said, it was a thing that shouldn't be touched. I'm gonna bet this is Eva. That's my guess. Something this beautiful should never be touched. Such beauty can only dwell in something so easily broken. Because of that, just the brush of a finger by someone like me would... Just like how a fun dream disappears with a poof when you wake up. It disappeared, fell, and broke into pieces. I realized that, because of my own foolish curiosity, I had done something that couldn't be taken back. No matter how much I regretted it, no matter how much I apologized, the broken vase would not be returned to its original form. Grandfather would probably scold me, probably very harshly. I ended up breaking into tears and sobbing, frightened. As I did, I noticed something beautiful. Lightly dancing golden butterflies were coming towards me. As mysteriously glowing golden dots shone in the air, the butterflies began to gather, one at a time. Oh, it's Beatrice. Beatrice, that reliable golden witch, had arrived. I guess not? Is this Maria? What? The butterflies kept gathering until they formed a cloud, and then she was there. I have no idea who this is. She was always there for me. Whenever I was in trouble, she'd always appear and save me. Good day to you, Princess. Beatrice. Oh my. Why are you crying so, and on a day so well suited for a tea party? I broke Grandfather's prisoner's face. Grandfather's gonna get mad at me. I don't know what to do. I see. That is worrying. The master really treasured this particular vase, didn't he? Imagining how he'll punish you scares even me, Beatrice. Grandfather was a very frightening person. When you failed to follow something he said even once, he would become so mad with a rage that would make even the fallen angels in hell quiver. Since I knew that down to my bones, I couldn't do anything but tremble and cry. I possess no magic that can scoop up your fallen tears, Princess. But if you need magic that would prevent the master from scolding you, I might be able to manage something. Really? Yes. If you'll be gracious enough to believe in my power, Princess. The power of belief is the source of magic. Miracles will appear before those of great faith. I believe in your power, Beatrice. So please, fix this vase. Please. If that is what you want, Princess, then leave it to me, Beatrice. When she extended her index finger, a golden butterfly softly landed there and changed its form into her favorite cane. But even that was enough to give me a small glimpse at Beatrice's wonderful and awesome magic power. She pointed her cane at the broken vase, and just like a child's lullaby, she began speaking the magic words. Come, try closing your eyes, and try to remember. What form did you have? It was surely a very, very beautiful form. Please, show me that form one more time. Were they words, or was it a song? No, it had to be magic. After all, can't you see? The pieces of the vase are rapidly gathering together, gently returning to the place where they'd been on display, reassembling into their original form. Incredible! See? Now it's back to normal. This way, you won't have to get yelled at by the master. Who were those people? Beatrice, you really are amazing. You can fix broken vases like it's nothing. It's still bugging me that I don't know who this kid is. That's not true. Returning something broken to its original form is a very, very difficult thing to do. My magic can only make it remember what it once was for a short time. But the vase really turned back to the way it was, right? Correct. But that doesn't mean the vase has avoided its fate of being broken. All I did was temporarily get the broken vase to remember its form before it broke. I have not yet attained the high levels of magical power that might be used to restore a broken fate to its original form. At that time, the high-pitched scream of a servant could be heard from inside the mansion. When I went to see what had happened, I noticed that several of the servants had gathered and were cleaning up the remains of their broken vase. From what they said, it seemed a black cat had sneaked in from somewhere and had climbed up on the vase, causing it to break. I understood the meaning of Beatrice's words. At the moment I broke the vase was broken. Beatrice let me see the vase being restored, but that was a temporary thing. It didn't mean she'd changed the fate of the vase being broken. And so, the vase remembered its true fate and broke. However, the one who broke it wasn't me, but a cat that had snuck in. That's right. Beatrice never said, "Let's fix the vase." She said she'd prevent the master from scolding me. Wordplay, very important. The fate of the vase breaking hasn't changed, but the fact that I broke it certainly has. Beatrice cleverly saved me from danger with that magic. It is very easy to break something. After all, you didn't need magic to break that vase, Princess. Then, is fixing stuff really hard? It is. It's so hard that she broke down crying, unsure of what to do. Does that mean magic is easier to use when doing terrifying things? That breaking and killing is really easy? But fixing and reviving things is really hard? That's right. With magic, it is far easier to break and kill. That's why weak witches lose to temptation and become intoxicated with gathering easy power for themselves, neglecting their true magical training. Real magic is the power to repair, to revive, to summon happiness that had disappeared, to summon love that has grown cold. And it can even summon a smile to the face of a princess who has forgotten how. Then, Beatrice, since you managed to fix that vase, does that mean you're an incredible witch? My days of training are far from over. After all, I couldn't make the vase forget its fate for even an hour. I'm sure my teacher, who taught me magic, would have been able to restore the vase to its original form forever. So, if it kept breaking and breaking, she'd be able to fix it over and over again? Yes. When one reaches that level, they are considered to be an endless witch. That is the endless level that all witches ought to reach. We offer the utmost respect to those witches and call them by that title. An endless witch. That's right. To witches with the power to mend things endlessly, the concept of breaking doesn't even exist. They are released from all the sadness caused by losing things and are promised eternal bliss. Certainly, the human world is full of sadness caused by separation and loss. To escape that sadness, people pray to the gods and ask for the power to withstand their sadness, believing it to be a test. In other words, a human's life is a journey, searching for a way to withstand sadness. In that case, a witch who could revive all things would be free from all sadness in the world. Simply put, that would mean eternal bliss. I wonder if I could become a witch like you and gain eternal happiness. You, Princess? It is a long, long, difficult path, you see. I want to become a witch. I want to find happiness. Beatrice, I want to become your disciple. Do you have even a trace of doubt in that feeling? No. I want to become a witch too. I understand. Then, until you get tired of me, I will make you my disciple. Will you call me teacher? Yes, teacher. That's a good answer. Then from now on, learn the depths of magic along with me. I am also in training. Let us both learn the proper use of magic, doing our best to reach that blissful level. Yes, teacher. Is this young Beatrice talking? Or maybe one of the other witches? So it was young Beatrice. Oh, I was wrong with Eva and Maria. Oh well. Win some, you lose some. Ah, a dream. That face takes me back. An endless switch, was it? That rank I'd yearned for in the past as the highest possible achievement was now just another one of my titles. No, you might even call it my calling card. Every once in a while, being called that can be quite satisfying. I trained so many days to achieve that rank. It'd be a bit of a waste if I never got a chance to appreciate it. She shook her head lightly. If it's the highest possible level, that means there's nothing higher. An eternal dead end, the beginning of eternal boredom. I remember what teacher told me. When one is released from all sadness, it is the same as eternal bliss. That's what makes me think. That teacher couldn't ever have reached that level. Eternal bliss means eternal boredom, and that's the beginning of eternal torture. But it all depends on how you look at it. Eternal boredom is the same as the sketchbook that doesn't run out of pages. It means you can draw whatever you want, you can try to have as much fun as you want. Boredom is the worst sort of poison, which kills all witches. Even those great witches who are given the title Lady fear it. It's the eternal poison that tortures them because of the eternal bliss they've reached. Now that I've earned the name of Endless Witch, I truly wish I could speak with teacher again. Is happiness really what lay at the end of our training? And just what is happiness? I wish I could talk with her about that now. Training has no end. When you think you've reached the eternal level, that's exactly the time to bemoan your own immaturity. I recall those words as though she'd answered me directly. I see. So I'm immature, am I? How amusing. How truly amusing. The sound of painfully shrill laughter rang out. It was coming from my furniture. What, did they break their toy again? Beatrice-sama, this guy stopped moving again. And I haven't had nearly enough fun yet. What a pathetic man. But I haven't gotten a chance to play at all yet. Let me play, let me play. Be silent, filth. If you keep devouring him like starving dogs, of course he'll keep breaking right away, no matter how well Beatrice-sama fixes him up. You broke him the most, Satan, eh? You just don't know what holding back means. My apologies, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive my stupid little sisters. Fix him, quickly! I'm next, I'm next! Don't you keep up that infernal racket. A single yell was all it took to make the noisy sisters of the Seven Stakes vanish. All they do is mess around, having as much fun as they want breaking him. They only come to me to clean up afterwards. Truly, this furniture never leaves me bored. Once the furniture hid themselves, all that remained was a sloppy mess, the last remnants of a broken toy. It had no form anymore. It's hard even for me to remember its original form in this state. Better make it remember for itself, perhaps. Oh well. I waved my golden pipe. Then I spoke. I chanted. I made it remember. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? After all, right now, you pretty much look like a huge lump of scrap meat. I've no idea which part is your arm and which is your leg. Unless you remember, I won't even be able to recall your face. By the power of magic, the pitiful pieces of meat began to remember what their form had been. Which part should go with which part, and where should join with where. That's right. Just like that. No. You should be a finger on the left hand. That's the right hand. That's it. Good. Good morning. Have you woken up? Ushiromiya battler. How ironic that your true nightmare begins after you awaken. If you would just accept that I am a witch, you'll quickly wake up from this nightmare, and I'll send you to heaven. I am the king of Mount Purgatory. There's no escape from this hell without my approval. You call this hell? That's just useless. Ah, it's all useless. I'm impressed you can still talk like that, after experiencing the pain of death, not once like any normal human, but more times than I can count with all of my fingers. This is why I never get bored. I never get bored of you. Yeah, no boredom problem here. After all, I get my pick of those massive tits, Tae-chans, with the dazzling asses in my harem. Thanks to that, I'm not likely to get bored for a while now. That's splendid. Otherwise, I would get bored too. So, my furniture. I've fixed them, so you can play as much as you want. Thank you very much. Oh, mine. I told you, your turn's over. I'm next. Get away from him. Oh. Wonderful, isn't it, Battler-kun? Look how popular you are. Popular guys have it rough. Get in line, freaks. If you just stayed obedient instead of acting tough, this would go much easier. Nah, he's good like this. His screams feel so much better. Okay, let's not break him so quickly this time. Did you all hear me? You aren't running this show. Battler-kun, let's continue where we left off, okay? After they locked Jessica-chan's room with the master key, how did they return the key to the corpse's pocket, which was inside the room? Well, maybe... that's it, they used a fishing line or something, sliding just the key into the room through the crack of the door. Wrong! So naive. Of all the doors that exist in Rokkenjima, none has a crack through which the key can slip. He was wrong, right? Okay, this time it's my turn. Where should I strike? Me, back of the hand. Me, no fair. Okay, then I've got the back of his other hand. I'll take the tip of his nose. Why? Let me do it too. Let me strike too. Don't be so slow, Leviane. We've always done first come, first serve. Okay, I'll take the tip of his foot. Me too. I'll take his shoulder, okay? You're sisters, right? Play nice with each other, okay? I can't believe you're still resisting. Why haven't you realized that your false courage actually gets us fired up? Sorry, but false courage and being stubborn are my specialties. No matter how you all try to confuse the issue, I definitely won't accept witches and magic. Even though you can't explain anything with human tricks. Are you stupid? Know your place. It's okay. We don't have to force him to accept it. Soon, he'll want to accept it so hard he'll start crying. Even now, he really wants to kneel down on the ground pitifully and beg our forgiveness. Aw, he's broken already. Beatrice-sama. Ah, well. Since I know I can revive him over and over, my furniture won't even hesitate to break him. Good grief. Giving eternal rebirths and eternal deaths at will. Before the endless witch Beatrice, all death in life has no meaning. Even death can't become the key to escape from my cage. Come, battler. Remember your original form again. I'll toy with you to my heart's content. Understand? I see, I see. How truly pleasant to have a toy to play with for all eternity. Ah, could this be the endless bliss witches gain at the endless level? I see, I see. Yes, this bliss certainly is amusing. I'll revive you over and over, kill you over and over. Let's see, what kind of murder will unfold on the next game board? Come, bring it in. Let the next game begin. Ushiro-miya, battler. I think I might have a new version of this, but I think it was looking at my game prior to it. So I have the original one, I think. I'm looking for clues, by the way. I don't think I remember a scene with Maria and blood on her cheek. I remember her being around that. I don't remember her ever actually being with it. Oh, gotta start with a peaceful boat ride again. What is it with Battler and seasickness? Oh, hey, that's actually not a bad boat. First time you see it with the new graphics, I guess. Dang. Too bad Aniki hates cigarettes so much. Sorry. She's been pretty grumpy since last night. Please don't hold it against her. Rudolph and Hideyoshi went out onto the deck and took out some cigarettes. Eva had always hated the smell of cigarettes, but when she was in a bad mood, she got even more sensitive to them. When they decided to smoke casually until they reached the island, the two of them had gotten yelled at and chased out onto the deck. Hideyoshi tried to use his lighter, but the strong winds gave him some trouble. Rudolph took out his Zippo with a smooth gesture and let Hideyoshi borrow the flame. When did you start smoking cigarettes, Hideyoshi-san? Just after the war. In the beginning, I was rolling them. Then I started using what I sold. First rule. So you're already smoking when you met Aniki. Bet she's always telling you to stop. I never listened to her, so she's already completely given up on that. Men gotta be stubborn, times like these. Hideyoshi laughed heartily, but Rudolph snickered. After being scolded by Eva, they'd escaped to the deck together with their tails between their legs. There was little doubt who had gotten her way with that exchange. She isn't usually so short-tempered. In fact, she's usually a more gentle, quiet woman. Every year, she changes when this day comes. Is that so? To me, she looks just like the Aniki we've all known so long. That's just it. She's back to being Eva of the Ushirimiya family. But that ain't the Eva I know. Well, I know why she's grumpy. This family conference is gonna be a pain. Got that right. There's that plan to threaten money out of Kraus Nissan. We may call it a family conference, but it's gonna be just a sibling fight at this rate. Before the family conference, 3 of the siblings had made a secret pact without Kraus. They were all facing urgent situations that needed a lot of money fast, and the only one they could turn to was Kraus, who spoke for the Ushirimiya head now that Kinzo spent his time shut up in his study. For a long time now, they'd vaguely sensed that Kraus was taking advantage of the fact that Kinzo had lost interest in his own wealth, and they suspected that he'd started embezzling that wealth to suit his own purposes. Despite being disgusted by this, they turned a blind eye to him while everything was still going smoothly for them. But now that they needed money, they really couldn't afford to let it slide. Eva had asked Rudolph and Rosa to form an alliance, and they were now scheming to take that money away from Klaus. Rudolph-kun, both you and I are company presidents. We're responsible for the livelihood of our employees. Rose is a president too. Well, as a hobby. That's right. Sorry. Basically, we've all got responsibilities. Now that I've thrown the gauntlet in front of the executive board, I've got to bring in the money, even if it means getting down on my knees or drinking mud. Same here. I can't betray the employees who trusted me and followed me for so long. That's why I need to get some money out of Kraus Nissan, even if I have to grab him by the neck. Aniki and Aniki have always been at each other's throats, and now she's got to challenge Aniki head on. It's no wonder she's on edge. So, Eva really has had a bad relationship with Kraus Nissan since long ago. Hasn't she talked about it? They're always at each other's throats. She never talks about the past, even if I ask. She probably doesn't want to remember. She's always been brainy and shrewd. Her grades were good too. Compared to that, Aniki was just average. The simple fact she existed would have been pressure enough, but she kept boasting about it and driving him into a corner. That fool. Why drive him into a corner so openly? I'd hardly call that shrewd. No kidding. Aniki regretted being born a woman. Though, she probably couldn't forgive Aniki since he was chosen to succeed the head just because he was a man. She'd always boast to Dad, letting him see that she was better at every little thing. Father really is an old-fashioned person. Gender discrimination was part of the system of values. I'll bet Eva's eagerness to prove herself made him dislike her a bit. Flashback time, I guess. Wouldn't you say schooling for women is like sugar and black tea? The taste is dull and flat without it, but too much ruins the whole thing. Since you can still drink black tea without sugar, he was in effect saying that there was no need for women to study. Those infuriating words were what Nissan hurled at me in my despair, when I asked to go to college only to be denied by my father. I protested that I needed to build up proper dignity and an education as the oldest daughter in the Ushimiya family, making college an essential next step. For the win. Cool. I got something right. Win? But when it came down to it, father's and Nissan's answers were exactly the same. How conceited for a woman. I've never taken the Ushimiya name lightly, not once since I was born into it. And I've been even more careful not to take my father's name, Ushimiya Kinzo, lightly. Father's name. Our family is an old one, with many traditions, but it lost its wealth and business in the Great Kanto earthquake, pushing it to the brink at one point. That was when father took control with his ingenious talent, reviving it to be even greater than it had been before. Not once did I forget that I was the daughter of that great Ushimiya Kinzo. That's why I always made every effort to become worthy of that name. I needed dignity worthy of the Ushimiya family, schooling, manners, and leadership. Even if I couldn't quite reach father's level, I deepened my knowledge in economics and finance, trying to improve myself so I could be of use to him at any time. However, in the end, father never acknowledged my efforts. To father, a woman was only meant to support a man, and nothing further than that was permissible. When was it that I came to understand that? It may have been as early as my childhood years. But I was going to have to wait until I grew up before I could truly accept it. Compared to me, you couldn't have said that Kraus, my older brother of 2 years, worked hard at all to become deserving of the Ushimiya family name. He told me many times since my early childhood that he would naturally succeed father, simply because he was born a man. He kept on repeating that, as though it formed an unsociable gap between us. I couldn't stand it. Even though I always got better grades than Nissan, even though I became class president when he never managed more than vice president. Even so, Nissan was considered to be the appropriate successor to the Ushimiya family, just because he was a man. Of course, you could find gender discrimination everywhere in those days. No, it was even considered a virtue in that era. During that despicable time, people said that when a woman is born, she obeys her parents. When she gets married, she obeys her husband, and when she gets old, she obeys her children. But that was exactly why I wanted to turn that on its head. Innocently, I kept trying to prove that I was the most fit. However, I eventually realized that all my efforts had been doomed from the beginning. Wouldn't you say schooling for women is like sugar and black tea? The taste is dull and flat without it, but too much ruins the whole thing. What do you mean by that, Nissan? Just as there are roles that only men can fill, there are also roles that can only be filled by women, correct? I do believe giving birth to children, raising them, and supporting the master of the house are roles that can only be filled by women. Are you trying to say there's no need for a woman to work or study? I wouldn't go that far. Talking to an unschooled woman is tiring and nothing more. However, women are even more tiring when they're too smart. I do believe that a woman as violently assertive as you would bring no end of hardships to her future husband. Are you trying to say that a woman has to marry and hide in the shadow of her husband? That's none of your business. Though you're my younger sister, I can look up to you for the respect you hold for father and your desire to become a daughter worthy of him. Even I am capable of feeling respect for such noble sentiments. That's just disgusting. What's this about noble sentiments? I'd call that flowery prose coming from you. Are you pretending to be the head already? The decision that I should succeed the headship has been established from the very beginning. And yet, you seem to be laboring under the illusion that you might become the head, hence the useless and reckless efforts you've expended thus far. Reckless efforts? Is it really that bizarre for me to say I want to go to college? Yes, it is bizarre. You undoubtedly are the oldest daughter of the glorious Ushimiya family. One day you'll support that family crest by being wed to the partner most valuable for father. However, excessive learning is not what's being asked of you. What you need are gentle feelings that will allow you to care for your husband, the ability to handle housework, and a humble demeanor that will reflect well on the master of your household. These are all the skills you lack utterly. In the end, can you really call yourself a suitable daughter of the Umineko family? I have no intention of being some secluded lady. I just want to become the person most capable of assisting father at his work. Then shouldn't you do so in a manner befitting an Umineko family daughter? What is it with you? You're still mannish even at your age, and you've never learned how to wear makeup in a way that will please men, much less how to cook and do housework. I hear you've even been learning how to brawl. That's rude. The martial arts aren't brawling. They're a perfect way to train and discipline the mind. And when it's needed, I take more than enough care to act as a woman should. What are you trying to say? That women should be slaves who work for men, so I mustn't be so forward? It isn't elegant to say it out loud, but I think a few unpleasant words are necessary in order to correct your mistake. So let me say it plainly. Women exist to serve men, and men exist to provide for women. A woman's job is to protect a man's back, to protect his house, and raise his children. Most women realize this without being told. They realize it on their own. But even after all these years, you still haven't realized that about yourself. So I've decided to clear away that misunderstanding for you before you leave this family. You ought to thank me. This is an insult to all women. No, wait. I have never thought of myself as a woman, and I've never depended on anyone because I'm a woman. How am I inferior to you, Nissan? In grades and accomplishments, in everything, I'm better. So how can you look down on me when you have nothing I lack, except the fact that you're a man? It's about knowing one's place. Every day, I have been raised with the readiness of one who will be head. In the future, that preparation will surely become essential. But you are different. Even though you will marry and lose the Umineko family name, you're being trapped by this unnecessary illusion. What's your complaint? Even if you had been born a man, the successor to the headship still probably wouldn't have been you. Why are you so unsatisfied that you insist on attacking me, even now? What's my complaint, you say? Nissan, you're always like that. Looking down on me because you'll succeed the head. Even though... What's my complaint, you say? I've got a billion of them. Grudges, hard feelings, humiliations that I'll never forget keep floating through the back of my mind. They all built up at the same time, coming out of my throat as a shameful moan. What's all this noise? God isn't the only one who holds silence as a virtue. Father! Father! He probably overheard our siblings fight. Father entered with a clearly unhappy face. Kraus, are you fighting with your siblings again? Why don't you have the dignity to act as a leader for your brother and sisters? How shameful. I'm embarrassed to hear this from my eldest son. In a flash, he struck Kraus's face. I readied myself to be struck in the same way, but I wasn't hit. My apologies, Father. Dignity isn't the only thing you lack. There's much more. You're immature in everything. And even so, you pretend like you're an adult. Realize that it's 100 years too early for you to talk like that, and devote yourself to your studies. Don't make me lament my son's incompetence anymore. Yes. I will continue to strive so that I can become a person worthy of succeeding you, Father. It was as if those words were directed at me. Even when he was being yelled at by Father, he was still bragging to me about how he was special, about how he was the successor. I just couldn't stand it, and finally spoke what was on my mind, even though I realized that it would be improper for a member of the Umineko family to do such a thing. Father, please, tell me how I'm inferior to him. I've tried so hard, studied so hard to become a person who won't bring shame to your name. Please, tell me how I'm inferior. How can I improve myself enough to earn your acknowledgement? That again? How many times do I have to say it before you'll understand? I expect nothing from you. Women should be women and just learn how to cook and sew. You aren't prepared at all as a woman. And you, I don't see a trace of the mindset needed to serve one's husband, to earnestly devote oneself to a man's needs. What good are you as a woman? Don't you realize that you're a daughter of the Ushimiya family? And yet, you only want to learn things so that you can act like a man. Your duty is not to imitate Kraus. Don't you even understand your own duty? As a member of the Ushimiya family, I won't bring shame to your name. That's it. That's where you're already wrong. Your duty is to marry out of the family and bring me a man who is profitable to me. And then you will devote yourself to your husband, give birth to children, and multiply. Be a good wife who brings praise to your husband's family. Just what is it that you can do to please a man? Do you think you can make tea? Do you have any talent in cooking? You have nothing. All you've done is to try and mimic Kraus, haven't you? Kraus will succeed the Ushimiya family. If you are unsatisfied with that, then you are disobeying me. Are you saying you will refuse to listen to what I say, even though you're my daughter? Get out. You're disinherited. I won't let you call yourself an Ushimiya. Disinherited. Disinherited. Father, hang in there. Please calm down. Genji-san, could you bring some water? Yes. Immediately. Eva, leave this place. He doesn't mean what he says. I will calm him down. Disinherited. If you won't listen to me, you're disinherited. Father was coughing pretty badly, and Nissan patted his back, as if it was a duty that was naturally his. It was so vexing for me to let him take that duty all for himself right then. If I carelessly approached Father at that moment, then I would probably be the one to get hit next. However, I fiercely tried to approach Father's back. Genji blocked me. Eva-sama, perhaps it would be better if you stepped outside for now. The Master's not in a good mood today. But... why are my children so incompetent? Kraus is lacking dignity. Eva is always a stubborn tomboy. I have no son who's like a man, and not even a daughter who's like a woman. Where did I go wrong raising them? Why, Genji, when and where did I go wrong? Master, you haven't done anything wrong. Kraus-sama has grown into a sturdy son, and Eva-sama into a lovely daughter. You haven't made any mistakes. How can you say that? What's so lovely about her? Far from a lady, she's always acting like a man. Disinherited. Disinherited. Father, that's just what I'm always telling Eva. Eva has promised that she will have a change of heart and act like a lady. Couldn't you postpone that decision for just a little longer? Who's a lady? Disinherited. Disinherited. Go quickly and leave this to me. Kraus gave me a look, telling me that. Well, that was lovely. And with that, I'll call it a day for now. This family is so messed up in so many ways. Where did you go wrong? Everywhere? Yeah, pretty much everywhere you went wrong. Yeah, huh? What did Kento go wrong, huh? For the record, I don't believe any of what he just said. That's not my take on any of it. People are people. And that's it. Each person is their own person, whatever it happens to be. There are no roles we need to fill other than the ones we choose to fill. Probably, but in the story, she comes right back and gets the name back with her husband. I'm not quite sure how that works out. Alright, but anyway, that's gonna be the point I save and call it for today. We've come so far from just the simple little airport trip in the beginning to a boat ride to this rinky-dink little island for a run-of-the-mill family conference we have every year. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, that's it for today. It's already started horribly, and I bet it's gonna get even more horrible from here. See you next time, and we'll weather the storm together, I guess, whatever it happens to be. Good luck, and don't eat anybody.